Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this is my iPhone XS Max. I've been using it for the past month or so, on and off, and I've been switching between this and some other phones since it's been a very busy tech month. But this phone has been pretty good overall. The design of it looks nice. It looks kind of like a piece of jewelry, and the durability of it is good. It feels solid in the hand, and I do have some issues here where it's a little bit sharp on some of these edges, just on the back of the XS Max. The front is fine for the most part, but it's pretty good. And in this silver, I got silver because last time I had the space gray color, and I wanted to change it up a little bit. And I think it looks good, but it does have some scratches because of this stainless steel edge. And so if we look around the outside edge, you'll see here, depending on the light here, you can see some scratches where I may have missed plugging in the port, or maybe it's hit something, I'm not sure. But most of the time I charge this wirelessly. And then around the outside edge, I wasn't able to find any scratches or anything. It looks pretty good overall. On the back, I haven't noticed any scratches except down at the bottom. There might be some just from setting it down, but I don't really see anything in normal light or in this bright light here. And then on the front, if I turn the display off, there are some light scratches. They're really hard to see in this light, but in bright sunlight, you may be able to see them a little bit better. So the actual experience of using the phone is pretty good. I love the speakers on them. It's something that I've grown accustomed to, and when a phone doesn't have this, it's pretty bad, actually, because it's got such a great stereo sound when you're watching a YouTube video or listening to music, whatever you want to do with the speakers. They're nice and loud, and they definitely have the wider stereo sound that Apple advertised. So that part I really like. Now, as far as my battery life, battery has been okay. I have been using betas on and off, so that's going to affect that. Normally, I would say about 5 hours of battery on this phone, of screen on time anyway. With this particular beta, 4 hours and 56 minutes, 4 hours, 3 hours yesterday, and I was down to about 20% at this point. So depending what you're doing, it's going to affect that, but about 5 hours of screen on time is nice, and it's comparable to many other flagship phones as well. And what you'll find is many people get confused between iOS 11's usage time being about 10 hours for some phones and screen on time, and they're two completely different things. This is far more accurate, and you were probably getting that sort of screen on time before, and it just wasn't measuring it that way. Now, speed is pretty good. Loading games, that just resumed. It's nice and fast. You can just play a game and it runs fast. I've never thought, wow, this is slow. And it's just super fast in anything I do. If I'm using it for a game, which I don't really do too much, I normally do that on the iPads. But if I'm using it for something like apps and going in between my apps, video recording, 4K 60p, the GH5 does 4K 60p that I'm using right now, and my iPhone does, and some other Android phones. But the video footage out of this is better than any phone I can say that I've used anyway. There are others that come close, but when it comes to video, the video, I can use it here and you wouldn't even know I'm using it. It's that good. The photos, I'd say, are only second to something like the Pixel 3 XL. So the photo in this, and they fixed that smoothing issue with the actual forward-facing selfies. They fixed that issue, so it's no longer beautifying your face. They found that to be an issue with HDR. Whether they did that on purpose, I don't know. It's hard to say. They didn't catch that, but I guess they didn't. But they did fix it, so there's no longer that issue. Now, as far as should you buy one, well, it looks like Apple's decreased orders for the iPhone XS and XR. However, I see a lot of those phones out in general public, but I think a lot of people with the iPhone X aren't upgrading, but I do see a lot of XS Maxes and XRs. I don't see too many XSs. Most people have 10s and just didn't upgrade. So it's hard to say if they're selling a lot or not, but I think this is way too expensive. If we compare that to the iPad that we have here, this is a 256 gig iPad. This is the 256 gig XS Max. They're similarly priced. So it's pretty crazy given that the only thing different between this is an OLED display and well, this is a large LCD, but an OLED display and a cellular antenna. And you can get cellular in these for basically the same price. So I do think it's overpriced. It is nice. It's nice to use, but for what it is, I definitely think they could reduce it at least to $9.99 for some of the larger storage options, or give us expanded storage. I don't think Apple will ever do that. But as far as the notch goes, it just disappears for me. It's something I don't pay attention to at all. And I think most people that have one won't mind it at all. When you're watching video and things, you can just put your hand here, or you can expand it into the notch area. But most videos don't fill that. And in fact, this video is in 18:9, so it won't go to the notch. It goes to it, but not past it. So it doesn't fill unless you zoom in. So I think for the most part, it's a non-issue. I would like it if they could just figure out how to do Face ID in the speaker without the notch, but since it's there, it doesn't really bother me. I think we'll see that in future iPhones though. So that's it for the XS Max. It's been pretty good for the past couple of months, and I definitely could recommend buying one if you have the money, but if OLED displays bother your eyes like they do me, they strain my eyes, you could go with the XR, but for the most part, that's not an issue. That's about 1 in 10 have that issue and find that to be true. So for me, it does bother me, but I do like this display. It's really nice to look at. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.